Hey, what's up guys? It's me, Juan Pablo. Thanks again for watching the video. Today's topic is my goal for you. Now I say this a lot in the Road to Financial Freedom seminar that I've done in the past, and which you should have watched by now, but if not, I'll give you instructions to watch it once more so that way you can be financially free and independent. But ultimately, my friend, my goal for you is to say goodbye, peace out, deuces to the 9 to 5 within the next 5 years or less. Can you do it sooner than that? Of course you can. Yes, that's my aim. I've done it in 4 years. Now, just to be clear, I was very aggressive. Social life, I cut that out. For 4 years, I was investing, so I wasn't hanging out. I wasn't trying to watch TV. None of that stuff. I had an obsession, a burning desire to become financially free and independent so I can earn past, live past, and live that lifestyle. So hopefully you have that same obsession as well. And you'll be able to do it and even beat my time and say, you know what, Juan Pablo? I'm going to do one better, bro. I'm not going to do it in 5 years, not even 4 years and tie you. I'm doing it in 3 years. You can do it, all right? It just depends on the resources you have at your disposal, whether it's time, money, or credit, and it depends on how bad you want it. Point blank, period. All right, I really wanted it bad, so I did it in 4 years. But again, my goal for you, if you take the steps that will be taught in this program, when we get to the real estate section, to quit your 9 to 5 in 5 years or less. Short term, I want you to close on your first property in 18 months or less. I believe you can do it sooner. I believe you can do it in the next 6 weeks if possible. Okay, it just depends on your tolerance, on how risk averse you are, what tools you bring to the table. Again, time, money, credit, and how bad you want it. Okay, but my goal for you is to close on your first deal by the end of the year. So that's what I have in the creed, and that's what I wrote in my creed. If I don't close my first investment property by December 31st, 2010, I ought to be ashamed of myself. Still know it to this day. And today's November 19th, 2017. So back then, this was in 2009 when I wrote this, October 2009. I wrote that on my wall, and I never looked back. I wrote it on my bedroom wall, and it just read, if I don't close my first investment property by December 31st of the next year, I ought to be ashamed of myself. And I ended up doing it in March 31st, 2010 is when I closed my first deal. And then I crossed out first deal and wrote second on top. You know, I had a pen and just wrote second on top. And I closed on my second property December 7th, 2010. No lie, no fabrication. First year of really getting to real estate, 2010, got 3 units in my portfolio. Okay, so that's my long-term goal for you, is to quit your day job in 5 years or less. Short-term goal, closing your first deal in a year or less. And I believe you can do it. You can do it much sooner. You can close your own deal in 6 weeks. Yes, it's possible. But I just want to make sure you are being aggressive. You're not being passive. Passive should only relate to your income, not your personality. Don't be passive. Be the aggressor. Get started and get on these deals. Alright? These deals ain't just going to fall in your lap, so you have to go out there and go get it. If you want it, then you got to go get it. Alright? Alright, so that's my short-term and long-term goal for you. Now, focus is required on your part. It's extremely important. So let me share with you some information about focus, right? One of my mentors, Dwayne, he is a serial entrepreneur. He has his hands in many different business ventures, such as a record label, rental properties, and he even has other interests. So at one point, he wanted to do 2 things at once. He wanted to start a cash business, a bodega. Some of you guys are familiar with that. It's like a corner store in your neighborhood. He wanted to have a bodega, plus he wanted to do a franchise. So he was doing 2 of these things, 2 new things in the same year. At the end of the year, he had to write losses on his tax returns upwards of $100,000, and he said that was the greatest tuition he ever paid. You know, the School of Hard Knocks, $100,000 tuition, lost money, and he had a bright attitude about it. So if you lose money, just keep in mind, hey, I just took a class in the School of Hard Knocks, and that was my tuition. But I learned some great lessons from that experience that I couldn't learn in the classroom. Therefore, I'm going to take fully I'm gonna note this fully, and I'm gonna take corrective action next time. Okay, so back to his story. He lost over $100,000 because he did 2 new business ventures at once. Focus. You have to focus on one thing at a time, master it, and then move on to the next. So I have to state that again. Focus on one thing at a time, master it, then move on to the next. So don't say, hey, I'm going to do wholesaling and buying whole. You know what? I'm going to do buying whole and flipping. You know what? I'm going to syndicate some deals and I'm going to wholesale some deals. Plus, I'm also going to start an online business. Or you know what? I'm also going to do... No, you don't want to do all that stuff at once. Because you won't be a master of none. You heard the saying, jack of all trades, master of none. Who is highly paid in the marketplace? Genius levels, activity. People who are geniuses in their own industry. You might argue that, let's say, Lil Wayne is a genius lyrically as a rapper, for example. Or you might say Michael Jackson is a genius as a musician, a singer, a dancer. You may say Jay-Z is a genius. You may say Oprah Winfrey is a genius. They all have multiple businesses and make money more than one way, but they perfect one thing first. So perfect that one thing. And that's what I say. If I throw out a name, I'll say Kobe Bryant. You might just think basketball. But does he have businesses outside of basketball? Yes. If I say P. Diddy, you might say music. Does he have many business ventures outside of music, like alcohol, clothing? Yes. TV shows at one point? Yes. That's the point, guys. They master one thing. They're known for one thing first. So what is that one thing you want to be known for? Is it wholesaling? Is it buying whole? Is it flipping? In my case, buying whole. Because buying whole, multifamily is the fastest way to financial freedom. Because you can buy multiple units under one roof, and that's just one closing, right? So that was the main thing I focused on. I focused on one strategy in one market. And that's where I'm at now. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania now. Still investing in the same one market. Even though I reside in Atlanta, Georgia, I still invest where? Where? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In the same market. I'm buying a 9-unit apartment building, closing on that thing tomorrow, got the check handy and everything, and I'm closing on that thing tomorrow, and it's right down the street from another property that I own. Focus. Okay? So focus, guys. And you might be thinking, oh, Juan Pablo, I don't know where to focus, I don't know where to get started. If you need some assistance, just check out the one-on-one coaching and the resources if you need some additional hand-holding or some guidance. But if not, you can figure it out. I figured it out. I just said, you know what? This is a market that I can afford in which I can get more bang for my buck. I'm going to rock with it to the point I know this market like the back of my hand. And to the point I know what neighborhoods, what streets even to invest in and what not to invest in. And if you're interested in investing in this market as well, sign up for the one-on-one so I can provide you with more toolers about the market. Okay? And the other thing I want to say about focus, outside of Dwayne's situation, so that was a learning lesson for him. Trying to focus on 2 new things at a time, he ended up lacking in both of them. Now, if he would have just chose one, he could have succeeded. But 2 new things, no. So keep in mind, he has a record label and other real estate. So he's already mastered those 2 things, and he got those on autopilot. Then he wanted to try another new thing. So that's the formula. If you say, hey, I'm multifaceted, Juan Pablo, of course you are. That's great. You can have your hands in many different pots. Like the people I've named, like Jay-Z and Kobe Bryant and so forth. They have their hands in many different pots. But they focus on mastering one thing first. Got it on autopilot. Perfected it. Then they moved on to the next thing. So that's what I want you to do. Replicate that same thing. Get it on autopilot, master it, then go on to the next like I did. I still invest in this market, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right? But what am I doing now? I'm also investing in online business. My time. I'm investing my time in online business. So I mastered real estate first, got on autopilot. I'm only here in Pittsburgh just to sign the checks. That's the only reason. Now, I have a property management company. Do I do the day-to-day? No. But I perfected that. Now I'm perfected buying whole. Now I'm just here just shooting videos in my spare time. Okay? So Tyler Perry, he had a great example. He said, now imagine, this is him getting started with the plays. He said, imagine you have a field and you have 10 seeds planted. Tyler Perry, you guys know him. Medea, the guy who does playwrights, movies, directing, acting, the whole 9 yards. Amazing guy. So he has 10 different seeds in the field. He gets his water and he pours water on the seeds. So how do you think you should go about doing that if you were in this position? You have 10 seeds. Most people will say, okay, I'll just take this water. Okay, let's say it's 30 ounces, right? 30 ounces. And I'm going to pour 3 ounces of the water evenly on each seed. So each seed, those 10 seeds, get 3 ounces of water. And you might notice, if you do that, maybe some of those will sprout up. Some of them may die off because they need more water, and some of them won't even do much damage. So he says, what's smart is out of those 10 seeds, decide which one of those seeds you want to harvest from. You want to reap the benefits from. You want to have a crop, meaning which seed do you want to get results from the most. Right? You might say, hey, I have an affinity for apples. I want to pour all my water on this apple seed. Or you know what? I love strawberries. I love watermelon. I love pumpkin. Whatever it is, you might say, hey, I'm going to pour all my resources into that one seed because that's the thing that I want most. That's the thing I have a burning desire for. That's the thing my mouth salivates for. I have an appetite for, a hunger, a drive for, passion for. That's where you want to pour all your resources into. So how does this relate to you? How does it relate to real estate? Speaking of which, when we gonna get into real estate, Juan Pablo? Just hold tight, man. We getting into it. All right, it's coming. When it comes, get your pen and pad ready. All right, build that anticipation because I want you to get this information, this knowledge. So out of these 10 seeds, Tyler Perry advises choose that one seed and pour all 30 ounces on that one seed, all of it. Because that one seed will get all the resources that it needs to grow a huge harvest, and you can eat the fruit of your labor. Enjoy the fruit of your labor. Enjoy the results, the harvest. So you might say, yes, I got it, Juan Pablo. I wanted to do online business. I wanted to have a brick and mortar company. I also want to start this nonprofit. I also want to volunteer my time. I also want to travel. Also, choose the one thing. And if it's buy and hold strategy, because you desperately want to quit your 9 to 5, then pour all of your resources, meaning your time, your energy, your money, your credit, all 30 ounces on buy and hold. And stick to it. Okay? Now, another thing I want to say for my goal for you is this. This right here is called a smartphone. Okay? I want you to use the smartphone as a tool to keep track of your tasks. Use your calendar. Schedule everything. What doesn't get scheduled doesn't get done. I did a video on this topic as well. Use this as a tool in regard to helping you further along, to get further along in your real estate investing endeavors, for your personal as well as for your business. Because you need this. This will help you keep organized. This will help you keep track of your activities. Alright, so use your phone daily. And believe you will be a full-time real estate investor even if you don't see the immediate results. Okay? You might say, hey, Juan Pablo, it's been 4 months. Still no deal. No one still wants to work with me. Continue to believe you're a real estate investor. The reason why you may not see any fruits of your labor is because, back to that seed analogy, right? When you plant a seed in the ground and you water it, the seed, it grows down first, the roots, before it grows up. So likewise, when you put a desire within your heart, your belief system, your subconscious mind, you have to continue to water it with belief and faith and happiness and joyfulness and thanksgiving and praise and gratitude. All these great things. You have to continue to water that seed, that desire, that dream, aka that goal, that passion that you have implanted in your heart, your core, your subconscious mind, it has to grow deep to the point it has its bearings. That you truly believe I'm a real estate investor. I don't care what this mortgage lender says. I don't care if this real estate investor wants to partner with me or not. I can care less if this real estate agent wants to find deals for me or not, because I'm going to be a real estate investor with or without you, brother or sister. Period. To the point it's firmly rooted in you. Then it starts to sprout out and you see it in your physical world. And then you'll be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Okay? So if you're still not believing it, just imagine that negative thought. Oh, this doesn't work. Oh man, this Juan Pablo just talking a lot of hocus pocus stuff. This stuff is just, man, this stuff ain't necessary, man. I'm tired of hearing him talk about the religious stuff and the Bible and da. He's too long-winded. He ain't get to the point, man. He ain't talk. Listen, if you continue to think negative in regard to this positivity that I'm speaking out, for example, you will soon realize that negativity is akin to a weed. So you plant this seed in your heart, and now you got a weed strangling it. So how can you expect it to grow and you see the fruits of your labor and you become a real estate investor, closing on that first deal, signing on the dotted line, like I'm about to tomorrow, if you have weeds in your mind? That's the field I was telling you about earlier. You have a field. That's your mind. And any seed can drop in here. It can be a good seed. Those 10 seeds I talked about were good seeds, but some of you may have bad seeds in there. So you got to uproot those bad seeds, put good seeds only, but just put that one seed that you want and put all your resources on it. Okay? And listen to the affirmations all the time. And I said I have the affirmations in the previous video, in the book, and the fastest way to financial freedom. See the resources. But listen to it daily and even create your own, tailor it. Listen to it at least twice a day. And update your personal financial statement every 6 months. Check your credit monthly and ask for credit line increases every 6 months. Okay? So I'll repeat that. Update your personal financial statement found in the resources. This keeps track of your income statement, your balance sheet. Just income statement is how much money you got coming in and how much money going out. So before you start analyzing the property, I want to make sure that you as an individual, because you are your most important business, you incorporate it, I want to make sure you as an individual are operating at a profitable level. Even if you have 9 to 5, I want to make sure you have more money coming in than you have going out. That's your income statement. Plus, I also want you to fill out your balance sheet. Balance sheet is your gross assets minus your liabilities. That determines your net worth. Why is that important? Leverage, my friend. I realized I had a car. It was owned free and clear. I had a lady gift it to me. I was very fortunate, and I'm grateful for it as well. Linda, shout out to you. But I received this car, and I went to the bank, and I realized I can pull $7,000, around $7,500. I don't quite remember. But I was able to bring out around $7,000 out as a cash out refinance from a vehicle that I own. And I only had to pay the credit union $150 a month. And I used that $7,500 to go towards buying a distressed asset. You see? But if I never filled out my balance sheet and realized that, hey, I can go to a lender, my credit union, and pull cash out of it. So I want you to fill out this personal financial statement so you can see how you operate as a business, okay? To make sure you're profitable and you have a positive net worth, because you might be able to leverage it, okay? And secondly, I want you to check that every 6 months. Check your credit report. We recommend Credit Check Total or PrivacyGuard.com. CreditCheckTotal.com, PrivacyGuard.com to check your credit, and check it consistently, okay? Just to make sure there's no derogatory items, no late pays, no collections, no charge-off, no bankruptcies. You have to make sure it's pretty every month, because why? You can leverage your credit for real estate investing purposes. Because when you're starting off in real estate, many lenders, now we're getting into the real estate stuff, you like that, huh? A lot of lenders, they think this way. If this person's inexperienced and doesn't have a proven track record yet, I have some reluctance in extending this person financing. However, if this person has a proven track record in managing his or her own personal finances, more than likely that correlates to the business. If this person has a high FICO score which shows their high credibility or their high credit worthiness. Credibility is also synonymous with reputation. Then they may want to extend you financing. So in other words, high FICO score is a numerical representation of your high reputation as a borrower. Okay, so you always want to keep your personal credit pretty. If not, that can jam you up and getting qualified. Not to say that you can't get a mortgage, but it could raise a few brows from the mortgage lender's point of view. So you want your personal credit looking pretty, so check it monthly. And as for credit line increases on your personal credit cards, monthly. Sorry, not monthly. Every 6 months. Every 6 months, request a credit line increase and use the same script. Hey, I'm calling to get a credit line increase. It's for business use. Even if it's a personal credit card, it's for business use. I want to use this as my operating account for my business, or I want to use this because I'm a real estate investor and buy materials and pay it off the balance at the end of the month. And please provide me with the credit line increase without doing a hard pull. As a courtesy, do not pull my credit and incur a hard inquiry. A hard inquiry is when a lender or creditor pulls your credit report, and that's looked upon negative on your credit report. You don't want that. Okay, because the more inquiries you have, the bigger the appearance is that you're looking for financing in a thirsty manner. You don't want to be perceived as being thirsty. Right? Ladies, how many of you guys like a guy who's tall? You might say, yeah, I do. Handsome, you might raise your hand. Got some money, you might raise 2 hands for that. But what about if he's thirsty? What do you mean, Juan Pablo? Desperate. Always calling you, asking where you at, what you doing, what you got going on. Hey, why did you come over? You find that as unattractive. No one likes someone who's desperate. The banks feel the same way about you. So if they look at your credit report and they see you have high debt utilization, which you should have below 30% by the way, and they also see a lot of inquiries, woo-wee, they don't like that. They perceive you as thirsty, desperate for financing. So if you need ink removal or credit repair, just check out the resources and we can help you out. Because these things are important, okay? And we have the tools needed to help you succeed financially. Just check out our resources for more information. And last, make the personal financial statement and fast track. This is a spreadsheet that keeps track of all your credit cards once you start obtaining them. And that's what I use. Use them as your best friend, okay? Meaning check them all the time. So that way you continue to succeed and get more deals done. Alright guys, so that's my goal for you. Ultimately is to quit your day job in 5 years or less, as well as to get your first deal done in a year, and for you to be positive, make money, and earn passively, live passionately.